a Georgia Republican Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, quote, "We need a national divorce. We need to separate by red states and blue states." You know, it's kind of crazy.
The Republican Party is similar to that deadbeat roommate who made bad money decisions, can't pay rent, but loves to throw a tantrum threatening to kick you out of the house, knowing full well he couldn't financially survive without you. Now, I try to stay away from reaction videos, but couldn't resist Marjorie Taylor Greene calling for a national divorce between red states and blue states, because it's complete bullshit. Because regardless of any social disagreements Republicans have with Democrats,
drag queen story time, where men dress up as women and read confusing books to children.
red states can't survive without blue states picking up the tab and injecting massive amounts of cash into red states to make up for their poverty-inducing trickle-down economies. Marjorie Taylor Greene calling for red states to divorce from blue states is like a 10-year-old telling his parents he's going to move out. It's adorable when it's a kid, but sad when it's an adult in denial about how helpless and irresponsible she really is. For example, Greene's home state of Georgia has been Republican-run for decades.
Well, how about them dogs?
With a Republican governor and Republican majority Congress. Since 2015, the lone state of Georgia has racked up $151 billion in federal aid beyond what it contributes to the federal government in taxes. Most of this money is given to Georgia via direct payments and state grants to fund welfare programs for the struggling Georgians living under trickle-down Republican economic policy. That's right, MTG, your home state is a welfare state. But where does this $151 billion in welfare that Georgia needs to survive come from? Never fear, Marjorie. Liberal states to the rescue. In this case, the liberal state of New York. In the same period while Georgia sucked $151 billion from the federal funds, New York contributed $151 billion more than it received in federal aid. The federal government then takes this money from strong, fiscally responsible states like New York and disperses it to struggling, welfare-dependent states like Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene should really be sending New York a thank you card. From 2015 to 2020, there were only 7 states that contributed more to the federal fund in taxes than they took out in government benefits. And all 7 are liberal states with Democratic state governments. The states that take the most from the federal fund are all the most conservative states in the country with Republican state governments and broken trickle-down economies. Marjorie Taylor Greene is once again pushing a false narrative to the extreme.
If we flood the Capitol building, flood all the government buildings, go inside.
She knows that if her proposal for a national divorce was taken up in reality, red states would become barren wastelands of misery without the welfare money given to them by blue states. But this threat from Greene, like all of her threats, has very little to do with reality.